This is so dramatic. I miss my girlfriend. We just broke up 1 year ago. And even now, I've not been able to get over her. And I don't know what to do.
Hi, we are Two Baddies, One Mic. And of course, this is episode 9 of the show, and we honestly are super excited about the fact that we've done this consistently for 9 weeks.
Second month anniversary, considerably, longer than most of y'all's relationships. But we're not here to judge. My name is Turife, and I love you.
And my name is Kasomi, and yes, what she said. So today's episode is one of those where it's kind of like, it's like a punch and then we blow. You know how, have you ever heard of the story where a rat will actually chew and then blow on you? And that happened to me one day in high school, and I will tell you that story one day, just not today. Yeah.
So the question we're asking today is, what are red flags
For you?
and what red flags have you experienced? What red flags have we experienced? And at the top of that list is splitting bills, specifically splitting dinner bills. Okay, let me create a scenario. Okay, you see me, fine girl, no makeup, no pimple, just shining, existing, having good engagement on Instagram. I'm shining. I'm living my best life, okay? And I am existing beautifully without you. And you're attracted to all of this. So you say, hey, I want to get to know you. Let me take you out to dinner.
Yes.
And then we get to said dinner. And then you open your mouth, uncle, and you say, we're splitting the check, yeah? We're going Dutch. That's a red flag. You will never see me again. Even asking me for that 100 shillings for parking, Mimi, I will look at you sideways. Because as a man, why don't you have money?
Do you know the song Dutch by Fenagitu and what's his name, Kagwe Mungai? It's like it's an old song, but I'll never forget. Even as a young child, as a young adult, well, I was in my teenage years. As a teenager, and I had them say, "We gon' do it Dutch. Make sure you give me my change. We gon' do it Dutch." I got triggered. I did not understand where the trigger was coming from. I probably didn't even know what the word trigger meant, but I felt triggered.
If you cannot afford to take a buddy out for a simple meal or for drinks, do not take them out. Because there's rice at home.
There really is.
Kuna mchele,
Imagine
kuna ugali, there's
Sinanja.
indomie, there's
Sinanja.
noodles. Why do you want me to get out, get dressed, put in all this effort, and then I get there to a place you called me to, you initiated all of this, and then you open your mouth and say, we're going Dutch, yeah? Please.
The only justification is if you told me beforehand. Like you're like, hey, by the way, can we split the bill? Can we go halfsies on the bill? If you told me beforehand, yes, it's unattractive, but I'm still coming and I'll still pay half. You've told me in advance. But sometimes I only carried fare. Now you want me to walk home?
Have you seen a girl's handbag? It is only small enough to fit in her patience. As if there's nothing in that bag except
Absolutely nothing.
lip gloss and vape.
Please.
And a cable if she's doing too much. And you want her to go Dutch?
Oh my
Shame on
god!
you, sir.
Oh my god! And in the spirit of transportation and going places, there is nothing worse for me. Like, I feel like this is an actual problem. Whenever I get into a taxi, and the guy goes, "Hama twende offline, twende offline." I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's a red flag.
In this economy, in this environment, you seriously are trying to convince me that my safety is less important than you making your buck? That's not gonna happen.
It's a red flag.
Immediately, no, and immediately I usually just tell them, you know what, let me just cancel. It's just that easy. It's not that deep. You're not the only taxi. I'm sorry.
And sometimes I want to sympathize with your situation. These taxi cabs, they take the commission, they take the what. But at the same time, am I willing to risk my safety for you to get that 410 shillings?
The fact that you're willing to go
Offline.
stab your employer in the back. Like, they've given you this employment. They've given you ability to actually make money, and you would rather not pay them and get the customers. The fact that you're willing to betray your own employer what does that give me as an incentive for me to help you? I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. If you're willing to do something shady to someone else, what are the chances that you'll do something shady to me as well? Do you know what I mean? Absolutely no. Absolutely no.
And speaking of transportation, would you date a guy who has no car?
I don't really mind a guy with no car because, I didn't have a car for a long time. So I don't really mind it. I don't really have a problem with a guy not having a car. To be entirely honest, I don't think I don't really value people based on something as basic as a car. Mind you, a car is a liability. It is a bill. So you having, maybe if you don't have a house, that's different. Like if we're well,
if you're homeless, it's
you're
different.
homeless, it's different. That's very different.
But maybe he doesn't have a car because he has a chopper.
Okay, you see where Turi is going? For her, it's really about, like, you better have something better. But for me, it's really like, it's just transportation. It's just going from point A to point B. If you can get a taxi to go from point A to point B, I don't really mind. Maybe I would kind of maybe be a little bit bothered if now you're saying, I'm trying not to sound...
Me, I'll say it, okay?
Horrible.
You are thinking it, I will say it. The thing is, I have experienced pedestrian romance.
Yeah.
And pedestrian romance does not...
sweet.
Yes.
It's not sweet.
Somebody cannot just hold your thigh at a stop sign.
I can't say a
because wamama watapiga nduru. Hey, munafanya nini, munafanya tabia mbaya. So, you cannot like reach over and kiss your partner.
You can't.
Nothing. You can't
really
even like
can't.
say something cute because...
Yeah.
Me.
It's I feel like I'm kind of not on that level anymore. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say I don't feel like I'm at that level anymore. If circumstances were to change and things got really bad and whatever, yes. But I'm not reaching to date you when we are there and we grow together. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
I really have no
maybe
interest.
those are
in
our
that.
red flags.
Those are ours, but I
Or
don't
it
know.
could be
I
a
don't
matter of
know.
preference.
I'm 30 years old, bro. Like I'm not willing to compromise on the small things to make you comfortable. No.
That's interesting. Anyway,
Yeah.
remove.
You went there, didn't you?
I went there.
Got ahead.
I don't know. We're talking about red flags,
Yeah.
and these are things you should look out for.
Yeah.
But sometimes your favorite color is red.
Yeah.
And there's this very, interesting red flag. You get on Instagram and you see a guy, and he's doing this. And he's squinting his eyes. Let me tell you, madam, if he is squinting his eyes in pictures, he's doing this. It's because he cannot see the length of your relationship. If he's doing this in pictures, please, madam, that's a red flag. It's going nowhere. If he is light skinned and squinting his eyes,
Yeah, I was about to turn.
it's over for you. It is all, if he's light skinned, squinting his eyes and doing this
On Instagram.
that's a red flag. I have not had any good experience with people who squint their eyes, if I'm just being honest. Maybe you have an eye problem.
Pretty boys, actually, to be honest, pretty boys are problematic. Like, you really have to choose your pretty boy because
It's not
boys,
shaming
they
blind
have pretty
people.
boy privilege. Yeah, they already have the same way we have pretty girl privilege is the same way guys, pretty boys, or technically they're never men. Pretty boys have the same problem. It's always they feel like you're lucky to have me. It's like you should hold me with such high regard simply because I look good.
And the thing is, Kathomi, they have evolved. We should have shot them while they were coming up. They have evolved, and now they want to be chased. Let me tell you, they want to be chased. They're out here asking you, you missed me, why didn't you call me? Hey, yes, I know maybe I didn't reply the last text, but you could have called me. Hey, you could have texted me.
Do you see the video of that young man in the white, the tube vest? And he was being interviewed. It was trending just last week. He was being interviewed and he had cornrows and whatever. Like,
the one he was saying he's ASAP Rocky, and people are like,
yes, that guy.
It's not fast enough. It's not as soon as.
I'm sorry. He said, look, you can hate me, you can do whatever, but I'm not. He was asked, how much have you ever paid for, well, how much have you ever spent on a woman? Like, what's the most amount of money you've ever spent on a woman? And he said, you know what? I think like 2K. I'm just like, I'm sorry. He said, hey, you can get me flowers too. Ha! Immediately. I was starting to get agitated. He says, you can pay for dinner as well. Wow. You know, I'm a pretty boy, so why can't you do those things for me? I mean, I'll do it once in a while, but it doesn't mean that I have to be the...
Even you can text me good morning. As in, when did the predator become the prey? You know, as in, the game of hunting. It was men who used to hunt and enjoy the hunt. But right now, they're like, girl, I'm tired of chasing you. You better chase me, okay? I have feelings, you gazelle. I know I'm a lion.
I know I'm a lion, but I have feelings.
Yes, please.
I'm deep.
I'm so tired from chasing you around. I need like a nap.
It's very unattractive, and you always see it in pretty boys, and even worse in pretty light-skinned boys. They can be very problematic. You know, just pick your light-skinned nicely because you might end up in trouble. Whoa.
They want to be chased. Imagine being outside his apartment with a boombox.
Imagine.
I will cross the oceans for you.
It's
Nonsense.
This kind of lies, they do not work. They do not work for me. Another one. For me, it's a red flag, and I will explain why. Bad breath. And I'm talking about both men and women. This one is for both of us. If your breath stank and you cannot feel it, and it is that close to your nose, what other things can you not smell? No. If you cannot smell the stench that is being spewed out of your mouth, how can you smell other things? How will you smell fish?
What else are you missing out on?
What else don't you... Do you know what I mean? If you cannot take the moment, your mouth, do you know everything about your mouth is so sensitive? Like, if it's your taste, it is how you taste things. If you cannot check your own breath, how can I trust your own taste? Because clearly, you can't even feel yours. How do you have taste? Do you know, there's so many things about having bad breath that are just like... Because now I'm thinking, hey, baby, the first thing I want to check is your hair.
If I turn into a light skin boy, and squint immediately, you start talking to me. That's...
Hey. Even after we went through the pandemic and all of us had to wear face masks, you still cannot tell that your breath stank. Can you please?
You got to experience yourself.
You are forced to breathe yourself.
And in the same thing about scents, we also have like body odor, like being musty and being funky. And you're an adult. Why?
No, but like Turi,
you can't be grown.
How can
and there's a whiff of sweat coming off of you. Yes, you're working hard, but there's deodorant. Please.
Imagine there's so many things you can do.
There's so many. As in, imagine
change your clothes,
hugging you, and you feel contaminated immediately. Have you experienced that? Somebody hug you or put
Matatu days
on you, and immediately you're like,
those guys who used to. By the time they leave, this is just the whole way.
Please,
can you
stop terrorizing your brothers and sisters out there?
Can you please
go take a shower? I know it's cold. It's cold. It's a struggle.
Imagine that a French bath is a bath.
Take a horse bath. Okay? The
hapa na huku.
Ekelea mguu juu ya sink. Do this.
What are we doing? Come here. Hey.
But if you're going that far, you might as well just take the entire
shower. Just take the whole shower. Imagine it's not that serious. Wow. You bad-smelling people need help.
Oh.
Do you know? And it's different when... It's different. You know, you can... The people who just have... You can tell, that's just a person who's sweaty. And then there is the funk. That person's clothes are dirty.
There's a difference, yes.
Hey.
Between normal sweat, yes, you just did something, you broke out. Yes, that's normal. But if you're like funky,
funk.
It's rank, it's ripe.
And like you walk and we are just like experiencing your after. Hey, you people stop. Can you people stop?
Huh.
Another one is just, you're on a date. You've just met this guy. He's mad cute. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, they start to tell you,
this is so dramatic.
I miss my girlfriend. We just broke up. 1 year ago. And even now, I've not been able to get over her. And I don't know what to do.
Or you're just having coffee with somebody and they start telling you how their ex was a witch. My ex was the assistant of the devil. She used to do this. She cheated on me. Please, I don't even know your second name.
First date.
I don't even know you like that. I don't know how old you are. This is the first date. But you've already told me everything that was wrong with your ex. How your ex did this. Your ex cheated on you. Your ex slept with somebody in your marital bed. How you tried to move on. And I'm like, damn.
It's a lot of
And you know,
unloading.
that's a red flag because it's a manipulation, tactic,
always
you know.
is.
They want to be to show you they can be so open with themselves and they're pouring their heart out. And the minute, you see them in a vulnerable space. And as a woman, your go-to instinct is to protect, to comfort.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry you went through this. Let me fix you. Let me show you what true love looks like. Mumu girl. Now look at you crying because he ghosted you.
And sometimes it's not necessarily them trying to seek sympathy. Sometimes it's them kind of. It's like them teaching you how not to act in that relationship.
Telling you everything that was wrong with the previous partner.
She always used to wear the wigs. She always wore a lot of makeup and short clothes. Now you can't wear short clothes, you can't have a wig, and you can't do makeup. It's like it's molding you. It's like teaching. It's very manipulative. It's grooming. That's the word. It's grooming you into becoming someone that you're not. In the sense of, I don't want to be like his ex. If they broke up, then he's going to. Do you get? It's very manipulative, and those people.
And immediately you tell me all of this, or unload all this information on me. It would have worked on me maybe 2-3 years ago. But right now, I'm looking at you like you're a madman.
Yeah.
Because all I'm thinking is, how many girls have you told this same story? Because for you to have perfected it like this, you've repeated it a few times. Is that not madness?
Hey.
He has curated this story to fit his narrative. So I'm just thinking, how many people have heard this story?
Yeah,
Was it the same version? Ama leo umeongeza mafinyo. Because the more you tell a story,
the better.
The more things.
The more the plot twists and thickens.
Exactly. So now I'm just thinking, what? You're such a storyteller. Who else have you told this? That's just mad weird. Another red flag. Mama's boys. A mama's boy. I'm not saying people should not have a healthy relationship with their mothers. But have you ever seen a man who is, it's like a codependent relationship between mother and son, borderline incestuous, because all they do is talk about each other. They're like, you're on a date, it's like, let me call my mom, let me talk to my mom. My mom said this, oh, your eyes remind me of my mom. My mom. And the mother, on the other hand, is like, my kababa this, my kababa that. Can you run? And the thing, you'll know a mama's boy because that's the first person they'll introduce you to.
Yep.
Like immediately.
Yep.
And very quickly.
Yep.
Very quickly they will introduce you to the mother because he needs approval from her to date you.
He cannot buy you flowers unless he has asked his mother.
He cannot do anything before, even taking you on that first date.
He has consulted.
The mother was aware. She's probably even been put on the call. She's just listening the whole time. As in,
a picture or two have been sent of you. It's a lot. Like mama's boys are just intense. And I don't know how, but it's different with daddy's girls because daddy's girls are not this excessive. I mean, a daddy's girl will be spoiled. They'll be a spoiled brat for sure, but it's not a thing of the constantly, I don't know, it's just so different. Mama's boys are very irritating and annoying, and they can really irk you. And it will make you feel so, it's just so uncomfortable. Oh, no, I don't want to know what your mother thought. I don't want to know what your mother cooked for you when you went to Gishagi on Saturday. I don't care.
Mad.
Weird.
What's another red flag? Because I feel like we have a lot.
We've spoken about this many times, and I always go back to, that's usually my reaction. Because oftentimes it's like, yeah, this is my best friend. And you're like, oh, I'm excited to meet your best friend. What's up? Pull up. And then you actually meet the best friend, and it's a chick.
I just don't believe that there are platonic male-female relationships.
difficult.
Especially a girl best friend. You're my man, but you have a girl best friend. In my head, all I'm thinking is you guys, the two of you in bed together, roasting me and roasting my hairstyle and my edges. That's yeah, maybe it's a me thing, but I think it's a red flag.
Because it always feels as if in those relationships, and this is, correct me if I'm wrong, every movie we've watched, it always is the same narrative.
One is in love.
person is in love with the other person, and they're just waiting for the day that the key will be thrown their way. It's like, come here, baby.
For the opportunity.
They are always lurking. They're always there to make sure that the day that he or she will be, ready to date again, they're the first option. They're the first thought. Even Asha said, that song. Which song did you say? The one about
Asha is a walking red
Asha
flag.
is a walking red flag. There's a song he said, I wish it was you. What was it? There's a song he says, I wish it was you. When I'm with her, all I think about is you. Something like that. Like I'm constantly wishing my boo. I remember Remember when we were younger, you were mine. No, is it that one?
No, it's not that one.
There's another song by Asha, which really is just that red flag story.
Yeah.
Where he's
Confessions?
These are my confessions. No, Confessions is the one he tells you about the way he has a girl on the side. Shit, now we have to look for that song.
Insert Asha.
It's just gonna bother me. Asha. Asha. Nitapata tu iko hapa. I know
In
it's the
consideration
top.
of time.
In consideration of time, you make me want to leave the one I'm with and start a new relationship with you. This is what you do. The whole song, he's talking about how he's with the girl, but he's wishing it was you. That's the whole. If you listen to that song, you make me wanna. It's just the exact narrative of this platonic best friends. There's always one who wants to bang the other. And in the very rare chances that you actually do have a platonic best friend, these things change when you move into a relationship. You can't be as close. That is the only logical explanation.
Can we just cite a good example of what's happening right now?
With?
Obina, Kamene, and the husband. A borderline looks like the husband is the third wheel. It's so cringe.
It's always so uncomfortable.
It's so weird.
Yeah, you really.
I feel so embarrassed watching them, and I'm not even on like there with them. It's on my phone, but I'm feeling embarrassment. Why? Why he's?
It's just when, let's say this: if you do have a best friend who's a girl, or vice versa, and you get into a relationship, that person becomes number two. They can't be number one. They can't be the person you're running to tell all your drama with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. It really can't work that way, because then you're using someone else. You have a fully formed emotional relationship with someone else, and now this other person coming into your life is just secondary. True. You will tell them on a need to know basis. It's not right. It's not fair.
And as we wind up, a cracked screen for both genders, please. Even as my friend, if you're walking around with a phone screen that is cracked, that is a red flag. That is because
how is it my fault? It fell, Turi. It's not my fault.
Your phone is like your child. So now when I see you walking around with a cracked screen, ni cover, ni screen protector inachipuka. So if I see you walking around with a cracked screen, I'm just looking at you mad, because I'm like, why would you do that to your child?
No, there's a cracked screen that's allowable. Like, the little, you see, like this one.
Yes.
But then, bro, where do you have a whole web on your phone? Like, you can't even see. It's just, what are you looking at?
Especially girls. Please, stop it.
Baby anakani kama malaika, hot.
Fine girl.
Fine girl.
And then she removes that. It's like a Lego. It's like she was putting it a puzzle piece.
No.
Don't do
Please
that.
no,
Hadi
please
kuna
no.
a dark area in your screen.
You know, it's like you can only read stuff from half of your screen. You people.
As in you have to tilt your phone
No.
to text.
No. There's a level of cracked screens that's just weird. I'm like, how do you even use that? Because aren't you worried you're going to get splinters?
And it's very pretty girls who are very.
Very, very gorgeous.
A girl is so gorgeous.
Oh my god.
And then she has to turn her screen to type because she can't type letter K. Please. That's wicked. But now imagine a guy with a cracked screen. Me immediately nafikiria tu venye life is so difficult for you. As in it's hitting you from all corners.
It's never a good impression.
How can I trust you with me?
It doesn't. It's
If
not
you-
a good impression.
If your phone is looking mad.
Imagine how it's never a good impression. It's the same thing as the thing we said with the bad breath. There's something about you looking at someone with a cracked screen that always just feels so suspicious. I'm like, what is happening? First of all, how did you even break your phone to this
But then you look
extent?
mad.
You just look so strange. Like immediately I see it, I'm just thinking about all the worst case scenarios. So to save yourself, can you please?
Don't move around with a cracked screen.
No. Imagine
Hey.
it's not even that expensive to repair.
Yes. What?
Okay, it depends on your phone. But like
If I was to crack my screen today, you know it would take me like 2 months to recover financially.
fine, let's say it this way. Screen protectors are not expensive. It's
Protect
easier to
your
break
screen.
your screen, and even like what do you call them? These phone cases. Just get those. It's cheaper to get a screen protector and a phone case than it is to walk around with your naked phone looking all fancy and then you break it.
No, it's easier to protect yourself in all aspects.
Really, truly.
Condomize. Condomize your phones and your lives.
Oh my
Saves you from a lot of trouble. From walking around looking mad.
Oh my god.
Imagine looking pregnant because you didn't protect yourself.
It's important.
It's a lot. I'm so
really-
sorry.
She went there. She really went there. But
Now
now
we
about
shift ge-
protecting
Yeah.
yourself. Yes, as you were saying, like it's about that time we shift gears and speak about some very, very important things in our lives. Yes, we've given you red flags, but it feels like today's conversation is of red flags and healing. Because if you have all these red flags that you can see, it's often a defense mechanism, and we really need to break it down and see what's happening. So we keep telling you here on the show every time, see someone, seek help, bloody, 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 blah. Now, as you're seeking help, it means you're trying to heal. So what does healing look like to you?
It's taking accountability for the things that are happening, because you can't be all of 28 years old and still blaming your father and your mother and your aunties and your relatives for your problems. But it is a process. It is healing, like heal, ing, not completely healed. So that means as I am in my healing journey, okay? If you do something, I might spares, okay? I might go back to my former self because it's a process. So just because I've said I'm healing, you may not go Instagram, I am healing on a healing journey, na post quotes, I'm moving mad, I'm moving. It doesn't mean you could now come back into my life and try to take advantage.
Absolutely.
I'm still the person I was before, as in I can shift back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here are some of the things that for us are healing, like healing. And I think we start with you because,
Number one is just enforcing boundaries. Like you've set a boundary and enforcing it and sticking by it, even when you're feeling guilty about it, because that's the thing with people pleasers, and you just want everyone else to be happy and comfortable, even when you know you're not going to be content about it or about the situation. Unashinda tu kinungunika, I wish I didn't do that, I wish I didn't do that, why did I do that? But right now I'm very willing to enforce a boundary. If I said no, it's simply no. Even if I'll feel bad about it, it's better that than to just be miserable the entire time because I agreed to something I didn't want to do.
absolutely. And in the same beat of acknowledging and establishing your own boundaries, there is also the fact that you enforcing your own boundaries can be can be contributed highly by always assuming that everything is about you. We speak about the spotlight effect, where it always feels like there's a shining light right in your face and everyone is looking at you. But the thing we forget is like everyone feels the same way. Everyone has a spotlight on them and they always feel like it's me, they're talking about me. And I used to be so paranoid sometimes. You'd walk in a room and you're like, yeah, they're definitely speaking about me.
Yeah.
You'd hear people snicker or laugh and you're like, yeah, they're definitely snickering
was
about
me.
something I did or whatever. And so acknowledging that not everything is about me, not really fully, honestly, people are caught up in their own stuff. And simply because they're projecting in a specific way doesn't mean I am the trigger. They're going through their own problems. They're also healing in their own way. So why would I assume that everything is about me? And that one is a big one for me because honestly, it used to feel like everything, I was so paranoid all the time because it's like, yeah, they're talking about me. Are they talking about me? What are they saying if they are talking about me? And I would always try and like defend myself constantly. I was constantly trying to explain myself and all of these things. But in all honesty, I just came to realize everyone's dealing with their own stuff. So it's okay to just admit that it's not about me. And even if it feels like it is, I will analyze my thoughts and I'm like, did I do anything? No. Did I say anything? No. Therefore, it's really not about me. Let them just do them. Yeah.
And in my healing journey, I've learned to extend more grace to my parents because now, as an adult, now in their shoes, me as a parent right now, I sort of understand what they were going through. I can put myself in their shoes and realize the universe is a lot, as in all the complexities and the hardships of being an adult and being responsible for a whole life. I have one child, so now imagine them with 3 children trying to navigate life, trying to provide for these children, trying to do their best, you know. Sometimes they would spaz, you know, they would do a few things, but right now I used to be angry about it, but now I'm like, I understand. Maybe you shouldn't have done that. You could have dealt with it differently, but I understand where you are coming from.
Yeah, and by extension, also for me, healing is you've understood where they're coming from, you've understood all of these things. But that doesn't mean you be stupid and now accept everything. You know, there's an overcorrection of that as well, which is now letting people walk all over you,
Yes.
letting people just do whatever, manipulate you emotionally and otherwise. So also pacing yourself whenever you are in the space where they are triggering you still, because it's not like this person has changed. You may have changed, but they haven't. They're still going to do the same things. So how you're dealing with it is the problem. Do not overcorrect. For me, it's just learning to have those very clear points of clarity. If you've said something and it doesn't align with what I am saying, I'm gonna call you out on it. I have to be brave enough to call you out on it, but not in a way that makes you feel like you need to defend yourself, but in a very just clear, like, look, I get where you're coming from, but that will not fly my way. It
Also
just can't work.
Learning to love people from far.
Yeah,
You know, just because
so important.
we are related by blood doesn't mean I should carry you around. I should, you
No.
know, make excuses for you. Yes, I love you, I care about you, but you don't have to be in my life.
Yeah.
I will love you from a distance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's so difficult.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that there's a part of you who wants
guilt.
to reach out and fix
Guilt.
everything. But you also understand it's a two-way thing, you know.
It really has to be mutual.
If they want to make an effort, you will see the effort towards repairing your relationship. But, you know.
And that famous line that parents will always say, I am your mother, and therefore, you know, you can never get rid of me regardless of what country you go to, blah, 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 blah. Or I am your father, and therefore you can never, you know, exerting that dominance of I am your father or I am your mother. Then if you are my father, act like it. Act like a father. If you're really, truly my mother, act like a mother, and then we can have a conversation. But you using that to manipulate me just to make me feel like I've done something wrong, I don't think that's correct. And in that way, I'm not going to stomach it simply because I want to preserve your feelings. I'm sorry. We will have difficult conversations. And if you don't want to be part of this conversation, let's just not. Let's just...
And it's very difficult as a non-confrontational person.
Yes.
Mimi, I will let a car like go over me before I tell them, you know, I was here. As in, I used to be so afraid of confrontation. I would just let people walk over me and do whatever they wanted. And always thinking, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe this is... And
at
I
your
had to sit down
expense.
and wonder, what's happening? Why is no one making those excuses
For
me?
you.
Why is everyone allowed to have a
Yeah.
bad day, but when I have a bad day, I'm a bitch?
Why is it only you that has to walk on eggshells?
Exactly.
You know,
It's,
so you
difficult.
need to just learn how to create those boundaries, and once you've created these boundaries, learn how to enforce them as well, because the enforcement of the boundaries is the most important thing. If people don't know that this is not a place I'll step in, they will continue to step.
Yeah.
And therefore, until you get to a point where you're like, look, actually you can't step there, this is my spot, you can't be here. Very important. But learning how to say it is very, very important as well, because like for me
Voice it.
personally, I feel like whoa, people say Merus are angry, and I used to have a lot of anger. You don't even know where it's coming from. You're just angry constantly, consistently, and you will lash out. So if you try and come at me, I will just like bark back at you. Why would I be? Why?
Yeah.
And then I completely overcorrected, and then I became now a walkover. Anyone will walk all over me. Yeah, you will just step because I'm trying not to be angry. So now getting to that fine balance of, before I say something, I will pace myself. I will try and think about the best way to respond to you,
Yeah.
and then I will respond.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes when you say things in anger, you can also inflict wounds on other people. And everyone's defense mechanism is always on alert. Once you have walls up, it's very difficult for anyone to penetrate your walls. So what do?
That's what
Someone
she
has
said. I'm sorry.
Someone has said something that has triggered you, made you angry. Instead of you making them angry back, with clarity and with complete, I don't know whether to call it wisdom really. Let's not call it wisdom. With clarity and with poise. Say exactly what you're trying to say, but not in a, we don't all have to be up here.
Yeah.
I'll say what I'm saying when I'm over here, but I am saying exactly what I meant to say.
Don't always
Calculated
escalate
steps.
a situation.
Yes. It doesn't have to be fire with fire.
Yeah.
It can be fire with Bunsen burner.
Because you realize sometimes somebody just wants to get a reaction out of you. And we've mentioned before, it's a process. Healing is a process. You don't wake up one morning after going to therapy consecutively for 3 months and
You are
say,
healed.
I am healed. I am now a perfect
Hallelujah.
human being. Because trust me, you will walk into triggers. People will trigger you. People will just find a way to. You'll wake up one morning with a paragraph from your mother telling you something, and it just hits
So hurtful.
the correct spots,
Yep.
and you want to type back an essay also, and
Those scriptures.
exactly.
You know how they do? They be sending you scriptures that are just charged. Charged.
Let me tell you. I also had this situation like recently, like somebody trying to offload a relative on me.
Aha.
So they're saying, your cousin from Ushago wants to come to Nairobi, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, listen, I hear you, mom, but I really do not have space for them right now.
Yeah.
I live in a 2-bedroom house. Where are they going to stay?
Yeah.
That is Liam's room. Are they going to sleep with me? Where are they? I really do not have space for somebody right now. And I was good. We had finished that conversation with my mom. I was Gucci, all was well. Then I get a call from my father. And he, immediately when you see your dad, there's like a heartbeat.
like,
My
okay.
heart- no, this is weird.
Yeah.
Why are you calling me?
Yeah.
And he goes straight to the point. Hey, how are you? Yes. Now, your cousin in Ushago, I was telling her to come to Nairobi, and then maybe you can enroll her in a course.
I enroll her.
And immediately I'm thinking, I am still figuring life out. I have responsibilities. You guys have an empty nest. You have a huge ass house to yourselves. Why does she not come to
Very
your
close
house?
to Nairobi.
It's in Nairobi.
It is.
So why
Why are you pushing
why
her
are you
on me
trying-
and you not taking her?
And they said, the way Kikuyus name you, sijui after your grandmother. So basically,
The manipulation.
she's my daughter. She is your daughter. I was like, So now I have children. And I felt very cornered and very, like I'd been put between a hard place and a rock. And I didn't know what to do. And there's always the option to lash out and to say something cruel to just get yourself out of the situation. Let me just burn the whole house so that I get out of this and you never have to bother me again. But at the same time, I was like, who's going to benefit from all this?
None.
So very calmly, I repeated the same thing. Listen, as much as I would love to help, I really do not have space in my house. And I really don't feel I can accommodate somebody right now. And even if they were to come, I would get resentful very quickly. And I was very quick to tell him I would be so resentful of this girl and she's innocent. So now here I am, always in a bad mood about somebody. They feel out of place. They're always feeling and walking on eggshells. It's not fair to them. So no. For my peace of mind, no. And he said, okay, I hear you. Good. And
you just drop
progress.
It. You don't
Progress.
have to, fire, Bunsen burner. Just always remember that. Because these things happen all the time. And parents have ways of saying things in a way that will you feel like this insecure little girl.
Exactly. Because I'm an adult. Why are you trying to tell me what to do with my life? With my house?
Which I'm paying rent for.
Imagine adding a member to your household. Hadi nishaambiwa anakuja Nairobi date gani?
No. Same thing happened to me, but I feel like it's the same story, so therefore there's no point of repeating it. Where it's like the worst thing is now this was my uncle and auntie, and they were trying to push my cousin to me, and they started off by saying things like, you've always been, you've always been, you love, but no one knows my struggle. No one knows. Everybody sees the shiny little thing at the end.
You don't know my life.
You don't know my life. Anyway, so then they all walked out of the room. And then my cousin came and grabbed me. And she's like, hey, I need to talk to you. I'm like, okay, cool. Where are your parents? They're not there. I'm like, they're setting me up. All right. So she took me to this place upstairs, and now she's trying to tell me about her life and trying to tell me about blah, 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 and this and this and this and this and this is happening. And so, trying to make me provide a solution for her. But immediately you know that the moment you open that door, that's it. It's over for you.
Utakuwa unapigiwa simu unasema
over for
hana school fee, haukutuma school fees ya this
It
term.
is over for you. I can't. I really can't. So what did I do? I gave her solutions for her to make herself, right? If you don't make those amends, that's entirely up to you. Your life will go how it will go. But I have told you what I would do. Because that's what I did. If I were you, I would do A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
After that, it's not my concern. And then you start to see how they're trying now to bring themselves back in your lives. I'm like, where have you been for the last many, many years? Anyway, people can be very manipulative, especially relatives. So it's important for you to learn how to clearly help without being involved. That's it. Just help, but don't be involved. I will give you a direction. You take it.
I will
you
send
don't.
you a
It's
link
your problem.
to a YouTube tutorial.
Yes, there we
Yeah.
go. That's it. That's really it. And finally, I think as we're going home, is the same thing happens. Now you become so quick to say no, it becomes a complete overcorrection, right? Because you weren't able to stand up for yourself, and now you have the ammunition. I can say no. So you start doing the no too much. But knowing when to say yes for me has become one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, actually, it's more powerful to know when to say yes. You don't have to always say no,
Take a
but
chance
learning to say yes. Because you're not going to say yes to everything. You have to think about it, consider it, blah, blah, blah. Will I be, what benefit, like actually analyzing things. And it honestly has saved me so much heartbreak and so much, it's given me so much peace just knowing I can say yes or I can say no. But
You
what
always
do
have a
I say
choice.
no to and what am I saying yes to? So the overcorrection of being you've been a yes man, now you've overcorrected, you've become a no man. So now finding the balance of like, okay, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
If it falls on this line, I'm not going. If it's on this side, yes. If it's on this side, no. Learning that for me has been very, very empowering.
And it's also healing.
Yeah.
It's the process of healing. When you're now saying yes to things you would have never
Said
said
yes
to.
to,
You know,
yeah.
you're putting yourself out
Taking
there.
a chance.
And I will applaud you for that, because before I met Kathomi, you would have never seen me doing a dance video.
No. In fact,
or
you weren't even on
a
TikTok.
dance tutorial.
She wasn't on TikTok.
I would never do that nonsense. But now I'm pressuring her to do videos.
TikToks, exactly.
Yeah, just know, because you're always wondering, what if I did that? Maybe I should. What if I would have done so well if I did?
Yeah.
But you're never doing
Put
it.
yourself
Why?
out there.
Do it.
Yeah.
And as we are winding up, please, what is your one red flag that you're very aware about?
My problem, like me as a person.
Yes, you as Kathomi, what do you know that is a red flag about you?
Oh, about myself. Okay. As I am thinking, you tell us.
She's saying she's perfect.
No.
Wow.
No. I've just told you I'm a damaged person.
Oh.
So it's a lot of working out the kinks. That's where I'm at. I'm working out the kinks.
I know my red flag for sure is I will shut down. I will shut. Immediately I feel threatened or out of place or triggered by something, my go-to solution is shutting down and cutting you off. I'm a ghoster. Oh,
Yay, the perfect ghoster.
I am a ghoster. Maybe if you move mad, I will ghost you.
Yeah.
But these days, I've actually learned how to tell you that I'm ghosting you.
Okay.
So I think it's progress. So before I ghost you, I will send you a very nice message and say, listen, this is what is happening.
This.
And it has been good to know you, but I think we should just stay friends. And then I will block you.
Oh, we're in such different stages of life. I love that.
Yes,
Like,
I'll just ghost you very nicely.
Yeah. I think my biggest red flag is I can be a kemenyi. Wow. I can be a complete know-it-all. Maybe I know everything. What are you trying to tell me, my friend?
She's the Wikipedia.
I am the wiki. Me and Google. Say what's up. You know, I can be such a know-it-all, and it can come off in a way that makes you. It can trigger someone. It really can. Like, I can tell you something and you're just like, okay, was that even necessary? You know. And to be honest, I am completely oblivious. Very oblivious.
Sit still.
So I think that's another one which I'm really trying to work on because simply because I think I know everything. I even wrote it down here. Where is it? No. Admitting that I am not always right. That I cannot know everything. That I cannot be the author and the finisher of everyone's business.
She will make up facts with a straight face.
Very quickly. We had a whole argument with someone.
And because she has good English, you will believe her.
You will be very confused. I don't like losing. I really don't. And so those things are bad together. You know, I feel like I know everything. And so when I don't know and I realize, fuck, I've been caught. I will congoya you.
You will argue for the sake of.
I really will.
Is that no wickedness?
It's bad. It's really bad. And so I'm always caught. Nowadays I'm always caught in my own loopholes. Or I used to be very quick to defend myself. Like I know this person is coming with this. So nitamwambia hii.
Yes.
Akisema hii.
Backers! Script is ready.
I am ready.
Call me Wakili. I mean,
I should have been a lawyer, really. But no, it's gotten to a point where now it's like finding balance of, it's okay to admit that I'm wrong. And now, and that has really helped me with also my listening. Because there was a time I did not listen to anybody. But I never really took time to listen. So those two things it's like one thing is evening out, other things will even out. So I'm as I said, ironing out the kinks.
And the question we always ask you, we've asked you for 2 months now. Did you like that? Did you like that?
Oh, we forgot to tell them to tell us their red flags.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Tell us your red flags and we will address them.
Yes.
We will address them on Instagram or in the next video.
Yes,
so
yes.
tell us what's up.
What are your red flags and in what way are you healing? Let us know on the comment section below, and you can catch us on our social media handles at
Turife,
at Kathomi, or here at Two Baddies,
One Mic.
There we go. And until next time, did you like that?
Did you?